Lord have mercy. What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Wiley Show. We are back. We have a full show today that we're going to get into. I'm just going to give you a rundown of the list. We're going to be talking about this elderly couple that escaped from a nursing home. We're going to be talking about Josh Duggar. We're going to be getting into Janet Mock from Pose. And we're going to be talking about Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian, the cheating scandal. We're going to get into Caitlyn Jenner. We're going to get into Shekinah and announcing that she's no longer friends with Tiny. But let's first get into this. I was at work today. Well, I was on lunch break at work today, and I heard Erica Banks' record, Toot That, was playing. And so I tagged her in my Instagram story, and she reposted me in her Instagram story today because I was listening to her music. That everybody, I said this, Toot That is definitely is it goes harder than Bust It. But I was like, okay, they play your record on 104.5. I'm like, okay. So she had reposted me in her story today. So that's something that was like a highlight of my lunch break. And yeah, that was like a whole highlight on my lunch break. So I was just getting in. I was like, okay, this is lit. Like I really want Erica Banks to make it. You know, I really want her to be successful in this game. And they're playing her record, so I think that she have a chance to get some share of this market when it comes to being a hip hop artist. So I think she really got a chance out there. Okay. So shout out to you, Erica Banks, and thank you for adding me to your Instagram story today. That was lit. So I want to talk about this elderly couple that I don't know what state it was. I don't know if it was in Tennessee, but it's on TMZ. They reported it that this elderly couple they have dementia or Alzheimer's, and they were saying that in this TMZ story. Let me see if I can pull it up on here so I can read it because somebody sent it to me. So this elderly couple, they bust out of an assisted living facility, and he had used a faded memory of Morse code. It's something like an old military thing when you can listen to people when they turn in like locks or different codes, something with his military training. So this happened in Tennessee. This couple escaped this assisted living facility using a Morse, I think it's Morse code. And the husband and wife, each of them reportedly suffered from either dementia or Alzheimer's or both, was able to successfully escape from the secure memory unit in March out in the city. So they did get back to the place. They are safe, but they did get a ring from the state because I'm like, how in the world? That just come from neglect. Like, you really got to watch out because these people, they be watching them codes. That's why anytime when I do the code, I'll make sure there ain't nobody around me because they be remembering the codes. I work at one particular place, and the guy, he know the code in and out. So they got to always change the code because people get up on there, and maybe they took the whole code and they walking up out of there. I work in place so everybody know the code. That's why it's important to change the code at least every 2 weeks or every month because these residents, that's their home. So when they see you leaving out, punching on the code, guess what? They're going to be out there watching that too, and they're going to be repeating that whole thing out there, and they're going to be like, and they're going to be out of the door. I worked in one particular facility, and this is sad. I worked in one particular city back in Chicago, and this lady escaped out of the memory care unit. she left, and they didn't notice that she was gone until like 3 some in the morning. Like she left during the 2 to 10 shift. They didn't catch it until the overnight shift came to do their rounds. And the overnight shift came, and the lady, she walked so far and she was so tired that the police was like, well, we're gonna have to give it to the media if she don't return. So finally they found the lady, and she was resting at a bus stop, but it was a long, she walked so far away from the facility, and people had lost their job. It was a nurse that was suspended, and it was like really sad because they didn't do any of their rounds, and this lady was gone, left during the 2 to 10 shift, and they didn't notice she was gone until after 10 p.m. So that lady had hours in advance to escape. And I'll never forget her name. I would repeat her name, but I'm not gonna repeat her name. I'll never forget the lady name. And her family shortly after that took her out of the facility and put her in somewhere else. That's why you got to be very careful. You got to watch out with people because they will. I'm telling you, these residents, they be watching, and that's why it's your important job to do your rounds. That's what I mean. I always do my rounds before I leave every 2 hours, or when I think I didn't lay eyes on you, I'm gonna keep laying eyes on you and keep checking to make sure you're in your room. Let me make sure you're in your bed. Let me make sure that your bed is, at a certain level so you won't fall. Let me make sure you're there, because if I don't want my license or my livelihood to be at risk because you escaped the facility, and I don't want it to be what that was one of Wiley's residents that escaped. I don't want any of that at all. Okay, so that's why I say you got to really be on it when you work in these memory care units. You got to make sure everything is good. Make sure. I just left a job today, and I'm telling you, I was tired, but one particular resident wanted to go to bed. And I was like, man, I don't feel like doing it because she was a Hoyle. So I said, nurse, let me just lay her down because I want to make sure everybody is good. Let me do the best that I can do for this shift, because you're only good by the last shift. So you could be a good CNA all year round and they have a bad shift and just mess up your good record. So I had to make sure. So, okay, let me lay her down. Let me change this person. Put this person to bed. Let me do this. Boom, 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 boom. And by the time I did all that, it is literally after 2 o'clock, and I'm limping outside there so I can go home because I'm tired. And they have the audacity to ask me, do you want to do a double? No. The answer is no. I don't want to do no double. I'm already tired for doing a single, and I dang on sure can't do no double. Okay, let me move on. All right. So that was going on. Let me go inside this other parts. Let's go into Josh Duggar. I hope I'm saying his name right. Some people say Duggar, Josh Duggar. So apparently he had been charged dealing with child, the P word. I don't want to say the name, but he's been convicted. He's been charged having that particular material of children being exploited. He has been charged with that. So Josh's wife is standing by his side and be like, "This is what I got to do." She's standing by his side. She is not. Let me see if I can pull where you can see how his wife look. Do I have that on here? Okay, here we go. Let me screen share this really quickly. She's standing by her man's side, even though her man has been accused of watching what he don't supposed to be watching. I'm not gonna say the name of it. Boom, she said it right here. Through the good and through the bad, they say marriage. Annie Duggar, wife of former reality star of TLC show 19 Kids and Counting, plans to stand by her husband as he recently been arrested on charges of child. Y'all know what it is. All right. Judge Duggar has been accused of downloading sexual material that shows some children under the age of 12. According to reports from The Sun, a source revealed that Annie is standing by her husband as she always has. She even accompanied Josh to Fantafield on Thursday so he could turn himself in to the authorities. Days before Josh was arrested, Annie defended him from the internet trolls and called her. Okay, so she defended him, and that's the wife. She's foolish. She's stupid, because I will not be standing by my husband, and he have been accused of this and charged this. Obviously, they have evidence because they're going to look in your phone records. They're going to look in your internet feed, and they're going to tell that you went on those type of sites. So again, he's going to get caught up. His wife is just stupid. I think that she's dumb. to be doing that, and they probably need to check her out to make sure she ain't been watching watching it with him, because sometimes there's some women that watch it as well. He's found guilty as a minor. He was 17, touching kids, but those records are sealed. His family and church dealt with him back then. It's terrible. And if that's the case, then he have always been doing this, have always been this predator, and he needs to definitely get somewhere in prison. And I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, you got all this, and then you have the show 19 Kids and Counting, and you love to watch little kids get it on. Like, come on now. And that's sad, because these kids, they be like kidnapped and they be like recording them. That's sick. Like, who want to sit there and watch some stuff like that? That is some sick stuff. And the wife is sick too, just by standing by him. That is sick as well. Just by standing by him. Like, come on now. Like, you ain't got no type of spirit of to say, okay, well, I'm gonna just distance myself from you because this is just too much. Two of his sisters came out in 2019, and family stood behind him. Now this is with kids again. Wow, it is again, because he have an issue and he have a problem, and they need to call it out. And the show has been canceled from TLC because of the allegations before, and that he had, because this ain't the first time he had allegations dealing with children. This is actually probably like his third time dealing with this, but now the feds are investigating this, and he have been arrested. So there you go. I'm gonna move on for that. But it's a pattern, and you mean to tell me they ain't gonna stop him? Come on, and he have his own children, so there's no telling what he's doing to his own children. He have children. Like, that is something. You got children, and you're watching these materials that you cannot watch. Child, I can, I don't want to get up throwing out other rhythm, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And you have your own biological children, so I question and say, wow, what has he been doing to his own children? I question, like, have he been abusing his children because of what he's been accused of? So we should be able to see, if R. Kelly can be canceled, so can this Josh Duggar. Okay. And I want to thank one of my producers for putting me on this story, because it is what it is. So I said, thank you for at least putting me on this story. I want to also talk about this, and I didn't add it to the eye lineup, but I'm gonna talk about it because I see it on my computer. Britney Spears' father claims that the singer has dementia in a new conservatorship documents. So the father have been over her finances for a while now. So now the father is putting on there the saying that Britney Spears have dementia, and that Britney Spears will be in court again. She's trying to fight her father to get her father off of her finances and stop being her conservator. So she want him to be counseled from that. So they'll be going to court back, I think in June. I think they'll be going to court. But he did file paperwork saying that she have dementia. So he have been over the conservatorship filed in 2008. And then his documents shown in the upcoming document and journalist, there are only two options with that. Britney might have dementia. And they said, and this is going to be in a documentary that I think they're doing. But I think they will be going back to court again this year. So we shall see how that's going to operate, how that's going to go. But yeah, this man is definitely said it about Britney Spears. So we shall see how that's going to operate. I don't know how he can have conservatorship over Britney Spears, because she do not look like she got dementia. She do not look like she got no Alzheimer's. She look like she can control her finances, but the family is just crazy. I think he just want her money, and he don't care nothing about her at all. He just want to make sure she don't get control of the money. And that's why he stopped. That's why she stopped performing, because all her money was like control over with her father. So that's why she stopped doing shows. She stopped doing performances because of that. So I hope that I really hope that she get it together. I really hope so. Look at this, Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. Look at them. They are definitely looking as a beautiful couple. And look at Lori Harvey, and I love them. That was another thing. They're looking really, really good. Okay. But yes, hashtag free Britney. Hashtag free Britney. She need to be free. Hashtag free Britney. She definitely needs to be free. Okay, she needs to be free for whatever she's going through. Hashtag free Britney. Yes, I agree with that. That's a hashtag I can agree with. That's a hashtag I can agree with when it comes to that. I want to talk about this really quickly. This is about B2, not B2K, Boyz II Men. So Candy went on a program. I forgot what she went, and she did a live with someone, and she said that B2K treated her so bad. So now one of the members, Wayne Morris, he responded. He responded to Candy, and this is what he had to say. He responded to her. Let me see.
You know, I could take her or leave her. Now, I think that she's a cool person. I think that, you know, when I watch her on TV or whatnot, I think that she has very valid things to say. I think that she keeps things on a level when it comes to her personality. I have nothing bad to say about Candy. It's just we work differently. And I try, you know, we try to keep things on a 100% up and up, you know, and be honest about everything that we do. So unfortunately, that just didn't turn out right. I didn't know that we were the worst to work with, but I mean, damn. After TLC and Boyz II Men and a couple of other people, she hasn't worked since, right? Like music-wise, she's just been doing like reunions with Escape. I mean, she's doing TV, which is awesome, but I haven't heard a song. I was like, yo, go Candy, like I did when she was doing, the records for like. But to me personally, I just, I could take her or leave her. Now I think that she's a cool person. I think that is for like TLC and those other, like it's been a dormant season, and it's a dormant season for a lot of artists of that time because music has changed, and that's just what it is. But she can't get on here and sing better than Jana Brown. She can't get on here and sing better than Leah Monty. She can't get on here and sing better than Ex Bria, Songbird Eye. She can't do that. Like, that's just. It's all right. I'm just saying, it's just, but I respect her opinion. I respect what she says, and just for like TLC and those other, like it's been a dormant season, and it's a dormant season for a lot of artists of that time because music has changed, and that's just what it is. But she can't get on here and sing better than Jana Brown.
Oh,
okay. Now who was difficult? Now, Ken, don't try to soft soap me. Don't you try.
I hate to do it. And, ain't no love lost. I mean, this is 100 years later, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, I had a bad experience in the studio with Boyz II Men.
Yeah. When you say bad experience,
it was bad.
They could sing, couldn't they?
No. About the singing. It wasn't about the singing. Yeah. Yeah. It was not the singing.
What is it? Was it about the attitude or what? Attitude.
Yeah. We fell out after that. It was an issue.
Okay, now who was difficult? Now, Candy, don't try to. No.
Okay, and she said, you heard what Candy said. Okay, here we go. Let me see.
I don't think I ever been disrespected like that before in the studio in my life. It was crazy, really. But at the end of the day, that was a long time ago. Clearly, we moved past that or whatever. But it was kind of weird for me because we were friends prior. Well, some of us, were cool. I mean, I didn't know everybody in the group, but I knew a few of them. We had hung out at different times prior to being in the studio working together. So it was just kind of unexpected to me that, working together would have that result. But
Okay.
it wasn't a good special.
I'm gonna leave that.
And so to fully break it down, what happened, she was in the studio with Boyz II Men, and she was writing a song. And according to one of the members of the group, she said that she wanted a split of the record about the split. And, you know, the split about how much money she's going to get of writing this song. And apparently a Boyz II Man did not want to agree to her certain amount. They just wanted it to be an even split. And Candy did not want an even split. Candy wanted pretty much majority of the writing credits. So B2 Boyz II Men, the group was like, no, like we should do a 50-50 split. And Candy wanted more because Candy said, I'm writing the hook and I'm writing other parts of the song, so I should get majority of the share. So that was pretty much what it's about there, and that's probably why she think it's difficult and all of that. But this was like a long time ago, back in the 90s. I don't know why Candy even bringing this up. This is like so long. Obviously, probably is nothing that they're doing in Real Housewives of Atlanta because she bringing up old tea. Anytime you see artists, they bring up stuff in the 90s and all this. Obviously, they're not doing anything relevant in music in 2021 when you have to go all the way back in the 1990 something. Like anytime you got to go all the way back in 1990 something, and it's 2021, obviously you're not relevant in music. In my humble opinion. Okay? I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm just gonna keep it real when it comes to that. So I want to get into Janet Mock from Pose. So apparently Janet Mock from Pose is a transgender woman and she is a producer. And I'm gonna just tell you this. She apparently went on there talking about fuck Hollywood. She was getting $40,000 per episode of Pose. Then she had her boyfriend to stand up and she announced that she's cheating, that she cheated on her boyfriend with somebody from the crew of the show Pose. So she just went on this whole rant. Obviously, she's going to be, Pose is ending on this after three seasons. Pose is ending the show. It will be no more of Pose. But this is the thing I want to say about Janet. I just think that was real ratchet and ghetto that you're going to stand your boyfriend up and you talking about you cheat, you slept with somebody from the crew and you talking about fuck Hollywood. I think you need to tread lightly because the last person that said fuck Hollywood or was saying something against Hollywood was Monique. And we see how difficult it was for her to find work in Hollywood and how they labeled her difficult. So you don't want to get that label on you. And you got to be cautious up there fucking people on the production and fucking people on the staff. So gotta be very cautious of that. And also tonight, it will be debuting tonight. Pose will be going up. But you got to be careful up there slinging that peen. And so I'm like, was she fucking? Because she still, I don't know if she still got her peen. Do she still got her peen? I don't know. Because she trans. Do she still got her candy stick? I don't know if she still got her candy stick. But she said she fucked somebody. Well, obviously, if she said she fucked somebody, was it penetration or was they fucking her? I don't know all the details. But one thing that I do know is Pose come on tonight. We shall see how on now. We need more seasons of Pose. And I'm just gonna tell you, like, we need more seasons of this. I mean, I've seen when it came to Quiz Folks, you had a lot of seasons of Quiz Folks. I think they had about 6 or 7 seasons of that. So I would at least expect at least 5 seasons of Pose. Not getting done with after 3 seasons. So obviously it's something going on, and we should definitely see how that's going to operate when it comes to this. And I'm just going to keep it real. Like Janet definitely is a person that is not playing games with Hollywood. Obviously, she didn't like it, but getting $40,000 per episode is a nice piece of money. That ain't no chump change. $40,000 per episode, I would take that. That's good money. It's more than getting $1,000 per episode being on being on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Woo! Okay, so it's it's more than getting $1,000 spent on Real Housewives. So $40,000 is a lot of money. So I don't know what Janet's talking about. That's a lot of good. That's a lot of good money. What the world is she talking about? Sure, she's talking about all that, but and I this is the thing, Janet. What are you complaining about? $40,000 is a nice episode, okay? And why would you sleep with somebody on the cast? I mean, on the crew, like that? Just too much, and that's trashy. That's not classy. And so, that's just real classy. That's trashy. Okay, So if you sign a contract for $40,000, that's the deal that you signed, child. Like. You should have been trying to screw some of the executives of FX or the production company to get a bigger piece of the pie. But me, I'll take $40,000 a month. I'm gonna tell you that right then and there. I'll take $40,000 per episode. That's some good money. And if you can't if you can't handle that, then there's something wrong with you. I'll take that any day. $40,000 per episode. Sign me up. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. So, so that's what happened. And people were trying to find the full audio of her rant. No one can pull it up. I tried to find like the full audio of her rant so I can play it, but obviously it was not there. I could not find the full audio clip of her rant. But she went on a rant, and you won't be shocked if she's going to be canceled. So we shall see how that's going to go. Okay. I want to get into Caitlyn Jenner. Now, this is something. Caitlyn Jenner is running for governor of California. And TMZ caught up with Caitlyn Jenner to ask her, what is your thoughts on transgender women getting into women's sports? What is your thing? And pretty much what Caitlyn Jenner said, I think it's unfair for biological boys that was born biological boys that transition should not get into women's sports. And that's what he said on TMZ. And this is what I want to say on TMZ. I agree. I feel like men have an advantage over women. And this is why we have the WNBA and this is why we have the NBA. If we allow for you to transition to be something else, to get to play in women's sports, you have an advantage over that woman biologically, chemically, you have an advantage over her. Not saying that it's that we are against what you're doing. No, I feel like no. That if you transition and then you bad in your sport, then you come in and dominate. It was one particular case that it was a person they transitioned from male to female, and they would start dominating the wrestling, just dominating in the sport. But when they was in as a male, they wasn't doing so good. But once they transitioned, they started dominating. I just think that's unfair, in my humble opinion. I feel like if transgender women want to do that, have your own sport of where you all can compete for just transgender women only or transgender men only. I don't think that it's fair that you can transition and get into women's sports and dominate women's sports. I feel like that's unfair to that woman that was born biologically, and you was biologically born a boy, and you already coming in there with a biologically advantage over that woman. And I'm just keeping it real. So we all know that Caitlyn Jenner is a Republican. She transitioned from Bruce to Caitlyn. She don't mind if you call her Bruce or call her man. Her mindset is like Flame Monroe. That's one particular thing. I remember when Flame Monroe went on T.S. Master's show, and Flame Monroe said this: I don't care if you call me a man. He, she, we. She said, I don't care. That don't bother me. And T.S. Master said, well, you don't call me, I don't respect that. And Flame was like, listen, you can call me whatever, as long as the check cash, that don't bother me. I put this wig on, I take this wig off, and stuff like that. It don't bother me if you call me a man. That is what Flame Monroe said. But I just want to say that clearly. I just think it's just a disadvantage. Like, if I'm using me as example, I'm transitioning to being Marquita, and I get into female sports, and I get into being a wrestler. I'm literally coming in with an advantage of me just being biologically born a man biologically as a boy. So I'm coming in with an advantage already. Or if LeBron James transition into a female, he get into the WNBA. I feel like that's unfair because you're already coming in which biologically with your you know what I'm saying, you're coming in with a whole advantage. So I just think that's unfair for me to transition and get into women's sports and I'm dominating women's sports. I think that's unfair. I think that's not right. Now, we all know that they want to identify, that's one thing, but if you're coming in talking about dominating women's sports, then a lot of women are going to want to compete because they're going to be like, why is I'm competing against this man that transition? This is unfair. This is against my rights as a woman. How is it that they can just come into our arena and just dominate us in sports? Now, I'm not a trans person. I'm not. So I would love to hear from other trans women. I would love to hear from T.S. Madison. I would love to hear from Flame Monroe. I would love to hear from Janet Mock. I would love to hear from who else is trans? I would love to hear from Laverne Cox. I would love to hear their opinion about it. Do they agree with Caitlyn Jenner? I know that's a very controversial subject matter with this, but I want to know, what do the trans women have to say? And again, we will open this show up to a trans woman. So if you trans and you watch my show, call in and I want to hear your side and to see what do you have to say about this. Because again, I'm speaking for me as a cisgender man, and I'm not speaking from a transgender speaking from experience because I'm not trans. I'm a cisgender man. So if there's a trans woman out there that want to call in, you are welcome to call in. But Caitlyn Jenner is a Republican, and she's going to get a lot of support from women, a lot of support from that because that just ring on it. And that's just the right thing. I think, honestly, it's the right thing to do. I think it's the right thing to stand for, if that makes sense. They just need their own separate sport instead of, integrating into women's sports, in my humble opinion. Because that's a disadvantage if they do that. If you allow that to just come in, just how I feel it. But we open up the phone lines and we'll let y'all call in. But my last subject today, Shekinah announced that she is no longer friends with Tiny. Let me see if we can post a clip of that. Can we post a clip of that? That she is no longer friends with Tiny. And Tiny did respond. So we're going to bring that up too. I'm not going to play the full audio of that because it's too long. But here we go.
Ain't no Instagram doing shit. Yeah, she called me dizzy. You heard her call me a dizzy bitch? The fuck, that ain't even her talking though. That's somebody else talking for her. Like, they're not even her talking. That's not even her. Like, she don't even use dizzy bitch. That's another bitch around her lingo. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's the shit that deep to me. So you don't let another lame ass hoe talk you into calling me a dizzy bitch. And I ain't never disrespect you not one time. Like, come on, man. She called me a dizzy bitch in her comment. It's cool though. Ain't none of that shit. But for you to see and act like I made shit up, how I'm gonna make some up? I don't know what the fuck going on in your bedroom, girl. I never been in your bedroom, never tried to be there. So how the fuck, what do you mean? The fuck you talking about? You sound crazy. I don't know that, girl. What? I'm so confused too. I don't need shit. I'm good.
So that was that. And pretty much what she said as well, she got mad because this is the clip. Well, this is what she said. This was the response. Y'all can believe this Dizzy B if you like. What in the F what I asked her to say about what she said? True enough, she wanted to speak up for me as a friend, and I appreciate that, but I never ever told her to say any of the shit she said. That's on my life and everything. I love. She wrote me a book and said people don't need to know, but yet going to live talking about me daily. Worst kind of friend to have. If we not cool, we not cool. Move on as I have quietly. It's a shame I'm addressing this BS now, just sick of all the lies. Day after day, I will forever wish her nothing but the best. Still, it's sad when close friends turn to enemies. But God has His way, and I won't. Okay, question him! Exclamation point.
Trash in my name, and that's why I didn't understand. I'm gonna say this. I didn't appreciate this. This is my last straw for her. When I made that comment about her, she was in a room with me. Motherfucker was sitting right there with me. She the one telling me what to say. And then when all y'all in America go crazy on me, my own supposed to be friends sit there and let y'all take me down, knowing I ain't got shit to do with none of that shit she got going on. She let the world set me up. That's when I said, you know what? I done did your half for free. I done kissed your motherfucking ass. I done been there for you. You done took all my old friends. Now they your best friends. Y'all pay attention. All y'all do is pay attention. All y'all gotta do is pay attention. All you gotta do is pay attention to what? How the devil tried to fucking destroy Shekinah. Playing in my face with some bitches that went never my motherfucking friend. I still was cool. Still didn't go crazy. Y'all still ain't never seen me go to Windy Williams and tell a story. Y'all still ain't never heard trash in my name.
Wait, I'm still stuck on what she said. She took all my friends and made her my. She took all her Shekinah friends. But Shekinah, you acting like you a child. Listen, you a grown-ass woman. Stop allowing people to put a barrier in your back and you looking like a fool. You did it. You came out. You made those statements. I don't think Tiny told you to say that. I think you're saying that to lie because you got caught up in a mess. And even if you did, let me just say, let's give it to you. Let's just say that Tiny told you to say it. You're a grown-ass woman. Stop allowing you're a grown-ass woman allowing another woman to tell you to say stuff that you don't believe in, that you never witnessed, that you weren't a part of. You're not in their bedroom and stuff like that. You said that Sabrina and all of them used to go out there and look for girls and get all the girls up. You said a lot of that stuff. You should never said it. See, that's why you got to be very cautious on the things that you say on social media. Now you going around cussing and you crying because Tiny, all your friends that you had, that you introduced Tiny with, now they all on Tiny's side because Tiny is a celebrity. Tiny's connected to T.I., Tiny's connected to Escape, Tiny's connected to the wealth, connected to the bag, and you're just on bingo, asking people to send you some money. But let's play that. I want to play that one more time. I want to play that one more time.
Ain't no.
Okay, no, that's not it. This is it.
Trash in my name, and that's why I didn't understand. I'm gonna say this. I didn't appreciate this. This is my last straw for her. When I made that comment about her, she was in a room with me. Motherfucker was sitting right there with me. She the one telling me what to say. And then when all y'all in America go crazy on me, my own supposed to be friends sit there and let y'all take me down, knowing I ain't got shit to do with none of that shit she got going on. She let the world set me up. That's when I said, you know what? I done did your half for free. I done kissed your motherfucking ass. I done been there for you. You done took all my old friends. Now they your best friends. Y'all pay attention. All y'all do is pay attention. All y'all gotta do is pay attention. All you gotta do is pay attention to what? How the devil tried to fucking destroy Shekinah. Playing in my face with some bitches that went never my motherfucking friend. I still was cool. Still didn't go crazy. Y'all still ain't never seen me go to Windy Williams and tell a story. Y'all still ain't never heard trash in my name, and that's why.
Oh, wow. I'm just telling you. It was so funny because I'm like, and you always crying. Like you always crying. And you just need help, sister. You always crying and you always want people to believe you. You got into the mess. You knew what it was about. And then you talk about you don't know what's going on in their bedroom and all that. You probably got them lawyers probably made you scared and all of this. They probably got you together and probably cussed you out because you probably shared some information that you didn't have to share. But whatever it is, Shekinah, I don't feel sorry for you. You're a grown woman. And if you allow somebody to put a barrier in your back, then you got to deal with the consequences. And you're probably hurt because all your friends that you introduced to Tiny, they're now Tiny friends. They're no longer your friends. That's so sad. Let me move on to the next story. That is so sad. We're gonna open up the phone lines. Well, let's get into Tristan and Khloe. So apparently, Let me see if we can pull that up. Where we at? Okay, do we have that? I want to pull it up because Tristan is allegedly they're saying that he was cheating on Khloe, and the woman that he cheated with is calling Khloe out and saying these words. Let me see if we can make it bigger. Okay, she said to Khloe Kardashian, "I think you're messaging the wrong person. Come here, sis. We got a lot to talk about. Remember, you said True needs more siblings. We still got 2, and maybe 1 on the way. I got T. I guess this is the woman that he allegedly cheated on with. I will not post our conversation, sis. Or you can't even text me on Snap. Let's put this behind us like grown women. Oh, and stop worrying about that little girl because it's many of them giving me receipts in my DM. At this point, leave sis, but call me. At this point, leave sis, but call me. Let me see. Okay, woman recently claimed she slept with Tristan Thompson, shared an alleged screenshot that seemingly showed Khloe Kardashian reached out to her. And you're going to see right here, that's the screenshot. And Khloe sent her a message saying, I would appreciate if our conversation can stay confidential. That ain't happening. And there's your question. She said, hey, Cindy, this is Khloe.
Into the model, Tristan.
Okay, so there we go. According to the model, Tristan said he was single when they hung out. And then she said, I didn't know. He told me he was not in a relationship anymore. So I said, okay. We talked, we hung out multiple times and went out together and everything. And when she found out Tristan was actually single, Cindy claimed she was single. She ended things. She literally said, are you single? And he said, yes. Okay, we can talk. We talked, we hung out multiple times. It happened. And then I found out he was not single and I cut him off. At that moment, none of the allegations, you can't really prove none of this stuff because, you know, you already get these people that say this stuff on these platforms just for clout. But I'm just telling you, the reason why this news is because connected to the Kardashians. Anything they do is connected to news. Do I believe that Tristan Thompson is a cheater? Yes. I believe he still cheats on Khloe Kardashian, but I don't think he's stupid. I still believe that he is cheating. But my thing is this. Is they going to give this the same energy that they gave to Jordan? I don't know. We shall see how it's going to go. But this is one thing that it will not surprise me. It won't surprise me that if Tristan is actually cheating on Khloe. But my thing is this, Khloe, if you're reaching out to these people, obviously you know your man is still a cheater. Because if this ain't have no bite to it, if this ain't have no legs to it, you won't be sending no DMs and talk about, hey, this is Khloe, let's talk about it. You won't even send no DMs. If this story was just fake news, why you up there want to reach out to the lady? I'm just saying. Okay. Let's just see how that goes. I'm going to open up these phone lines and see what y'all got to say up in the chat. Give me a second while I get these phone lines open up. I mean, if your nigga, they say your man cheating, and they cheating on, if you don't believe it, you ain't gonna go on their DM. If you don't believe it. But she was like, hey, this is Khloe. Let's talk. Let's keep this confidential. No, it ain't gonna be confidential if this clout chaser side chick is gonna do. She gonna do. Of course, she gonna use this as clout. So we shall see how this gonna go. And it's where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm gonna just tell you that right now and there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But I just want to know, would they give this the same energy they gave to that black girl, Jordan Woods? I'm just saying. Because they did her wrong when they thought that she was cheating on Tristan and all that type of stuff. But, hey, them Kardashians and them Jenners, that's one thing they can't do is keep a man. Because the men, they either go get on drugs or they either cheat or they either go crazy or hear voices and talk about they running for president. I'm just saying. All right, so we're going to open the phone lines. The number is, I'm going to post the number on the screen. Moderators, if you're in the chat, can you post the number 646-716-8447, please? Thank you. And shout out to every producer. We're going to open the phone lines. I thought I had it already opened it up. Well, we got to these topics today.
Your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Right.
Your show is scheduled to start in 33 seconds.
All right, 33 seconds. The show starts, so y'all have it over there. All right. Will she put a do-rag on True Well? No, because the person is not a friend to the family. Okay, Khloe needs to stop with the Shirley Brown art antics. I'm just telling y'all, if it didn't have no bite to it, why are you reaching out to this woman? Why are you
Your
sending
show
her
will go
DM?
live in 5
Obviously,
seconds.
you know he's
4,
cheating.
3,
She know it.
2, 1.
She know it.
Love Talk Radio.
All right. So we live 646-716-8447. She know he cheating, and it is what it is. So we talked about it. So today, callers, if we do get any callers today, I'm just going to give y'all the list. We talked about the couple, the elderly couple that escaped from the nursing home. We talked about Josh Duggar. I hope I said his name right. We talked about Janet Mock from Pose. We also talked about Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian and the cheating scandal. We talked about Caitlyn Jenner. We also talked about Shekinah announcing that she's not friends with Tiny. And we talked about Britney Spears. We talked about that as well with the conservatorship. So if you call in, those are the subjects that we talked about, okay? All right. Why would you even do that knowingly it's a possibility of it being leaked? Come on now. All right. And we're not going to be up here all day because we got things to do. I got to go to sleep. I'm tired. And I said, hold up, we're going to go live today and get it in together, okay? All right? Why would you even do? I'm saying, because obviously she know it's smoke to their situation. She already know that man is cheating on her. I don't care what nobody say. Khloe knows that Trisha ain't nothing but a cheater. She know it. And it's all alleged. I'm going to say allegedly, but she know that he ain't nothing but a cheater. She knows that. All right. It is what it is. 5840, caller, you on the air.
Hey, Wiley.
Hey.
Hey, so I'm calling in because of Janet Mock. First of all, I believe this is a publicity stunt because what a coincidence this week, which is today, that Pose come out with their final season 3 tonight at 10 o'clock p.m.
Right, because it was at the premiere. It was at the premiere party. When she said that, it was that she said all this at the premiere party.
I mean, to my knowledge, I think she was supposed to only have 3 minutes to speak, and then she went beyond 15 minutes, and then she's dating Poppy. It's just, I personally believe it's a publicity stunt, and then if it is real, she has more to come. When she said F Hollywood, maybe it's a book, but she is definitely promoting something. That's what I'm getting from it. She's promoting something, that something is coming after Pose. That's what I think from it.
You think so?
But my thing is, you signed the contract. What was it, for $45,000?
I think she said $40,000 per episode.
Oh, 40. You signed that contract, so therefore you knew how much you're going to be getting, either direct deposit or however you're receiving the money, but you knew that. My thing is, she probably didn't know that it was going to be a good show for it to be season 3. So she just took the $40K.
And my thing is this, $40K is a lot of money per episode. That ain't like it's a cheap amount.
No, but you have to understand, them girls, they live a fabulous lifestyle. They in luxury. So $40K is not really a lot. If you want to be the it factor of Hollywood, you want to be in Givenchy, you want to be in Gucci, Prada, Fendi, you want to be in Tom Ford, you want to be in the labels. You know what I'm saying? So $40K, you just buy 1 bag and 3 outfits, $40K is over with. So you get what I'm saying? So $40K is not a lot for those type of girls that want to live the fabulous lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you saying, and if you got an appetite like that, then you need to cut down on what you want to expend on. Like, you need to cut that out.
Absolutely.
Because you should be able to live on $40K an episode.
And people do live beyond their means.
You're right about that. You're exactly right about that. But it could be a publicity stunt because, like you said, the season premieres tonight. on FX, and I don't even have FX, but the season premiere is tonight.
It's free. Just download it. Download it. It's free. Download it on your phone if you have to.
Okay. And I'm going to watch
because
it.
I would love for you to do a review.
Okay, yes. So I'm going to definitely have to watch it. So I'm going to see how it goes tonight and see and watch it. But thank you so much, Icon, for calling in. I'm thank you for even letting me know that.
But I do want to make another comment on Shekinah. Shekinah, stop all that baby crying, Shekinah.
Oh, she gets me with that.
Shekinah, stop all that baby crying because you already knew what you was doing. Stop jumping for these people. You've been around them people for how long? And you said T.I. had a song, put your name in the song, was talking about you in the song, and then you backing up these people. Stop playing nice with these people. You coming forward now. We want to know all the tea. We want to know all the tea. Therefore, you're talking now. You didn't sign no NDA. So you better come out and tell us everything. We want to know everything.
Absolutely.
Now is your time to shine. Now is your time to shine.
Facts.
Shekinah. Now is your time to shine. But don't be surprised, Shekinah, if you get blacklisted. Don't be surprised.
You better
if you
say
get
it.
Blacklisted now because of T.I. and Tiny.
You right about
but
that.
We do want the tea. Inbox Wiley, the Wiley Show, and give us the tea. Shekinah.
She already telling it on Bingo because Bingo she get paid, so she know what she doing because she going live on Bingo so they can send her starships and chips and coins and all stuff over there. So she's smart for doing that.
She's trying to build up that coin for that court case coming up.
Okay.
For that lawyer fee.
So she right over there on Bingo.
As Tiny felt some type of way for this for not being Shekinah's friend anymore, but my thing is she was in the room, so what Shekinah was saying, it wasn't an issue at that point, so why is the issue now?
Come on.
Because she could have been like, no, Shekinah, stop. That's not true.
You're right about that.
She was just quiet, let her talk.
We shall see. And another point, I think Shekinah needs to just take this moment because she gets so emotional. And maybe that's part of her image with the crying. I don't think it would be a Shekinah live if she ain't crying. Because most of the time when she go live, she cried. When she caught up in some mess, I would say. When she caught up in some mess and the heat get under her legs, she gets to, I don't understand. I'll be doing all this. And I did here and I have my license and stuff like this. And they telling the people that I took over the show, that I made the show hot. No, I never said I made the show hot. She was saying all that on Big O. She was going at it.
Yeah. And before I get off this phone, I want to know if T.S. Madison is going to come out. Maybe she has said something, but I don't really follow her like that anymore. But I want to know if she's going to come out and drag Caitlyn, because before, in the beginning stages, when Caitlyn was, coming out as trans, she used to drag Caitlyn. So I wonder if she's going to be dragging Caitlyn with this statement that Caitlyn made. But in my humble opinion, I can't really speak for a trans, but I heard once they take the hormones, it breaks down the body. So I don't know if they were, being that he was male to female now, I don't think she would have that upper strength, that strength as what.
But if they take it though, you might have those that don't take it and transition and say, hey, I'm trans. What would stop a person to just say, hey, I'm transitioning and just put on a wig and some makeup and still, you know what I'm saying? So we shall see. That's only for people that's on the medicine and or the hormones and all of that. But I heard that it makes them stronger. So I don't know because I'm not trans. We're not trans. So if I have a trans person on the line, I would love to speak to a trans person and have that conversation.
Natasha don't be in your butchers, where's she at?
I don't know. She long. Baby, she. All right, thank you. Okay, the number is 616-716-8447. 7441, calling you on air.
Riley, I'm gonna need an hour. I'm gonna need my hour back. Man, your commentary is horrible. You can't talk.
Okay, I'm gonna go to that.
Listen.
Oh, bye. Because you always come here and want to complain. Okay. I want to say this with any trans person because I want to see what do CHEATS and Madison have to say about the situation. And not only her, but just trans women, period. Because once Caitlyn put that statement out, now people are going to look at the trans women and say, okay, do y'all agree with this or y'all don't agree with this? But don't be surprised if you don't hear them have anybody to talk about this. Don't be surprised if they don't say anything about it because it's a subject that if they say the wrong thing, they can be canceled. So don't be shocked if you don't see your fave talk about this. Again, I just don't agree with it. I don't have. Wow, I put myself in them shoes. Like if I were to transition and get into women's sports, I think that's a disadvantage. I think that because women gonna be like, damn, like you were born a man and here you are just dominating in sports. I don't think that's good, in my humble opinion. I don't think that's great at all. Because even I'm a part of the LGBT community. I'm a part of it, and I love it, and I love being a part of this community. But when it comes to that, I'm just not that open because that will literally change women's sports forever. And a lot of women that's dominating, they will lose. They will definitely lose. And I don't see them actually winning. They will probably never win another championship, another basketball game, another tennis match. If you allow trans women to dominate women's sports, I don't think that will be the end of women's sports, really. That's just my humble opinion. I just definitely sense that. Yeah.
I want to say I agree with you. I agree with you on the Caitlyn Jenner
Yes.
stance. I do agree with Caitlyn Jenner. I think that it is a disadvantage. I think that is unfair to women who have fought hard to even be able to compete in competitions, to create their own league, to create their own lane, to only have it invaded by people that feel that they were born in the wrong body and that they identify as the opposite of what they were born. And so it's like now we have to incorporate them into a space that was designed, that we designed for ourselves. And so I do think that is unfair for women. So when people talk about equality and they talk about equal rights for trans because they want to be, because they identify as a certain way, what about the equal quality for women that fought? Like we can't help because you were born male, but you feel like you're in the wrong body and you should identify as female, meaning that you should be in the same spaces that was created for women. We can't help that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that is fair for trans to try and occupy the space of women that have fought, competing in races, competing in any type of athletic sport, like regardless of how much hormones that they take, you cannot change the genetics of the makeup of a man versus a woman. Our body is made up of two different things. There's two different functionalities that's going on. We have ovaries, men don't. It's just too much. So to try and take away things that women have, that women cherish, I do think that it is unfair. So I do stand with Caitlyn Jenner on that. I know that a lot of probably trans is not going to agree, but like you were saying, there was an incident that with the whole boxing thing where there was a trans that had in an MMA fight that actually broke this woman's face. And then there was a track sport where there was a trans girl in a high school competition of running track. They had ran as male for 3 years prior and they could never win state.
Facts.
And then all of a sudden they, say they transitioned or they put on a wig and whatever they did, and they competed in the women's competition, and then they won. And so it just throws out the window of all of those girls that had worked so hard for state to now come in second or third place to somebody that could not compete in the male league. And now, because America gives them this right, they can now compete in the female league because they say they identify one way.
Facts. And I agree with you on that. That's just how I feel. I think that trans women should have that conversation, but I don't think they will make a statement like the T.S. Madison, the Flame on Rose. Because if they come out, if T.S. Madison today come out and say, "Oh, I don't think they should do that," she will get dragged by trans women. They will drag her. If she said what Caitlyn said.
T.S. Madison, I don't think if T.S. Madison says that she disagrees or with Caitlyn, I don't think that T.S. Madison has the space to say whether she agree or disagree, because T.S. Madison herself still identifies as a male and talks about her male part all the time.
No, she identifies as a female.
Even though
she just talks about her male parts.
She identifies as a female, but she always talking about her male part, about how long
because she still got it. Because she still got it.
Still use it.
Right, because she still use it, but she's the type of trans person that will say, "Hey, I want to be as a woman," and that's just how it. Even though she talks about her male parts, but she said the appropriate way to address me is she, hers. Yeah, that's how she wants to be addressed. Even though she makes fun in the commentary,
right? So even though she wants to be identified as a female, she still uses her male part. So this is why I'm saying where this is a disadvantage to women, because even though a guy puts on a wig or get breasts or whatever, or they say I want to be identified as a woman, and they're still using their male part. I mean, how can you put them in spaces as women? Women are not born with penises. We don't have two functionalities. We can't use a penis and a vagina unless we put on a strap on. That's not a part of our genetic makeup.
Okay,
so
I see your point.
You want to be identified as a woman, but a woman does not have a penis.
Facts. You're right about that, and that's a good point. And it could give you a conflicting or confusing. It can confuse people if you say, "Hey, I'm a trans woman," but yet every time you talk about your peen, or you talk about how you use your peen, talk about how big your peen is, it can confuse a lot of people. I get that.
Exactly.
I get that, because even though it will confuse a lot of people. People are like, "Oh, so you want to be notified?" But she said, because her and Flame is different. Because Flame Monroe, she pretty much does trans. She's a transgender, but she takes her wig off, she takes her makeup off, and all of that, and she dressed up like a guy. She when she's at home, she's dad, she's a man. But when she's on stage, she's Flame, but she don't care if you call her he. But T.S. Madison, but she got dragged though. If you remember, I'm gonna restream that 2 Man a Lady maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna restream it. I remember when Flame Monroe said all that, but she got dragged by trans women. They called her a fake trans person because she said she don't care if you call her dude.
But I remember that Flame Monroe got a lot of heat when Flame Monroe went on the Breakfast Club. But I agree wholeheartedly with Flame Monroe. For the most part, I mean, and I know it may sound offensive, but if you have not cut off your male part and you're still using that, you're actually technically dressing in drag because you're not fully transitioned. Even though you want to be identified as a trans woman and you want to be called a woman, you have not fully transitioned. You are actually dressing in drag. That's basically what you're doing.
Well, drag is performing. I disagree with you on that. If you don't want to remove your male parts and it's about how you identify. You know what I'm saying? But again,
okay. Drag queens dress up, right? They dress up as females.
Right.
Some of them walk the street.
Yes.
Some of them go and do it as performance. Some of them do it because that's what they feel. They feel like they're a woman, so they dress up and that's like some of them is like their alter ego. What I mean by that, I don't mean no disrespect to trans. What I'm saying is that when you look at a drag queen, they put tits or they do something and put something in their breast. They put a wig on, they put makeup on, they put eyelashes. And if they want to walk around like that all day, if they want to walk around like that, however, if they want to live their life like that, if that's how they make their money. What I'm saying is that it's similar to what people want to say is a transgender, because if you have not fully if you haven't fully trans, like meaning you haven't cut your penis off, you're still operating it, it's like drag, because you're dressing up as a woman, but you're still using your male part, like what drag does. And I get what you're saying, that that's for show, but
right, but a lot, it's some trans women that have their male parts but don't use it. You know what I'm saying? Don't use it in a sexual manner. So again, it was a movie that I was watching. What was the name of the movie? It's on Amazon Prime, and it was two cisgender women that was playing trans women, but one of them was like, "Oh, I don't like to use it. I just want to, be, penetrate. I just want a guy to penetrate me. I don't want to penetrate another guy because I'm a woman, even though they still had, their penis." So it's just all about how you identify. And when it comes to these transgender situations in this topic, it's a very complex, because every single trans woman is different. They're not all the same. It is just because you could talk to Flame, you get one answer. You could talk to T.S. Max, you get another answer. You could talk to Laverne Cox and get a whole nother answer. So it's like it's not like they're all on one accord when it comes to that. When it comes to identify, because everybody is different. It's about who you talk. Then you have those that fully go through the surgery. So what about, somebody would say, well, Wiley, but what about if I really go through the full transition and I remove my peen and get a vagina? Can I still play in women's sports? Because I fully remove that. Can I still do that? So that's a question. You know what I'm saying? I'm fully on my hormones. I'm fully on this. I fully identify as woman. I removed my male parts. Can I perform in women's sports, and why and why not? So I think that will be going up in the courts. And I don't know how the courts. I think the court's going to strike it down, because most of the courts are conservative. Really, when you talk about the Supreme Court, because that's a question. What about if they don't have their male parts and they want to play in female sports?
Well, see, here's the thing, right? The vast majority of them are not even taking the hormones. I mean, when you do studies on statistically everyone that is identifying as trans, there's only maybe 2 to 3% that has actually fully went through the surgery out of the entire group that identifies as trans. There's a very small percentage, and those that have fully transitioned say that they no longer get the attention that they once had when they had their peen, meaning that they are no longer the men that they used to attract is no longer attracted to them because they no longer have that peen.
Absolutely.
So in actuality, the only reason why men are attracted to trans is because they have that peen. So now real women do not have a penis. So how can we identify them as women?
Well,
because the man is with them because they have the penis, and because they have the tits, and because they wear the wig, and because they have the makeup, and because they have the booty, but they still have that extra special piece below.
Right. They still have extra piece. And it's even a case when you go into polls. I believe one of the members of that cast in the show, it was a storyline where she went to get surgery and she removed the peen, and the white guy she was dealing with got mad at her, like, no, why did you get rid of this? You're just like everybody else. I dealt with you because you're different, because of course you got the candy stick. So it is what it is. And then so I remember when I was watching I remember I was watching Secret Society on Amazon Prime, and one of the two girls that was in there playing the movie, he was like, well, I already know your tea. I already do that. He wanted her to put her peen in his anal and give anal sex. So that went on. I remember that. And she was shocked. She was like, oh, I don't want to do this. But most of these guys that deal with these trans women, they be getting it in. They be wanting the trans woman to top them. It is what it is.
Yeah, they be wanting that extra because they are low key bisexual, and they want someone that appears to be a woman but has that extra sexual piece. below. So that means we're out in the public, you identify as a woman, you look like a woman, but you have the extra piece that you can satisfy me the way that I need to be satisfied that a woman cannot do, because a woman is not born with an extra part to post in no man's behind.
Well, you have a point, and that's why it's so that you have a point, because you have some straight guys that be wanting straight women to put the strap on. How would you like to handle that and be like, hey, let's put the strap on, and they call it what, pegging? I think that's what they call it. So that's like a whole nother subject. What is going on? So I'm like, but I know you'll look at your man different if your man tell you to put on a strap.
I mean, the thing is that, people's sexual preferences is whatever their sexual preferences are. But it's getting so confusing with all of these different identities. It's getting so confusing and so convoluted, all of these different identities and then women have to accept people, pretty much storming their space. So then women no longer have a space. Because if we're going to say that we have to accept them because this is what they identify as, then what is our space because this is what we were born as? Not what we identify as, this is how we were born. So, the other thing I want to talk about is the Shekinah piece. I watched her live. I must say that I agree with her, and I also agree with the icon from New York. I think that Shekinah has had T.I. and Tiny, or mainly Tiny's back. Tiny was definitely in the room when Shekinah went live, when she made that whole accusation about Sabrina and Willie and all of this other type of stuff. Tiny was in the background. Tiny was laughing. Tiny was there. So I agree with her when she said when the heat came on, Tiny and T.I. got missing and nobody had her back, and now she's having to fight cases because Sabrina filed a lawsuit against her. She's having to pay for her own attorney. She's having, to deal with things that she didn't think that she would have to deal with for simply standing up defending her friend that was in the room when she made those statements. So it's no telling what type of heat, because right now, before she just got on live again, everybody was looking at her as being a bad friend. She talked too much. She said too much. But Tiny, if you go back to that live, was right there when she was saying it, telling her what to say. So how can people blame her for sharing information when the source gave her the information was sitting in the room?
But
So
again, but Shekinah is a grown woman though. She's not a child. So if you allow somebody to set you up and be like that, she had to be cautious on who you allow to put battery in your back. Like Shekinah is a grown woman.
And you know what? I think that after you get burnt more than one time, you wake up and you realize, and I think that's what it is. That she said that her and Tiny will never be friends again. She's not looking for no friendship with Tiny no more. She wished her the best, and she said that T.I. never liked her, and she just feel. I think she had a lot of stuff that was bought. That was like when somebody done did you wrong over the course of years, but you just take it in stride. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. The fact that you're sitting in the room, you're telling me what to say, and I get on my live, and I'm coming to your defense, and I'm throwing Sabrina under the rug, and then all of a sudden, all of your fans, her fans, everybody is coming at me, and you and your husband get missing in the wind, and ain't nobody got my back. And now my back is up against the wall, and now all of these people hate me, and your fans is coming up under my comment section, saying a lot of negative things about me. You, my friend, you ain't even coming to my defense, but you told me to say this.
All right. We thank you so much for calling in. There you go.
Bye, Wiley.
Bye-bye. Love you. All right. She always calling in. All right. So the number is 646-716-8447. That is the number. If you want to call in, you can speak on the subject. Please be respectful. If you come in here being disrespectful to the host, I will cut you off the air, okay? We ain't got time for all that disrespect. All right. I love that caller, what she called, because she's so in depth. She calls in, she speaks on the subject. Shout out to the icon from New York. And the only person that we was missing today was the voice of New York, even though she live in Chicago. Even though she lives in Chicago. Make sure y'all thumbs up the video. Before we go, I want to make sure I let you all know that we will be bringing back 2 men and a lady probably next week. We will get the 2 men and a lady back. So if it's going to be nice. So we're going to be bringing it back. So I'm going to be doing some restreams of 2 men and a lady. I know some of y'all already seen it. But for the new people that didn't get the chance to see 2 men and a lady, we will do a couple of restreams tomorrow. But I just want to say that. 9867, caller, you on the air.
Hey, Wiley and Chuck. This is the voice from New York. So while you didn't have to call me out, yes, I do live in Chicago, but I'm still born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I'll never leave it. And it's only temporary for school. So I'm going to talk about the transgender thing that Caitlyn Jenner said. I agree with what she said. I don't think trans women, trans men should compete with the gender they are associated with. And that's because even if someone is on these pills, they still have enough testosterone, especially for trans women, they still have enough testosterone in order to beat the gender that they're in. I just don't understand why it's so hard to just form a trans Olympics or like a trans team or like why is it so difficult just to do that? You know, sometimes, you know how like we wanted to go to certain schools back in the days and white people were like, no, you can't go to these schools. So we decided to have our historically Black colleges and universities and we attended those. Same thing with like organizations who did not want us anywhere. We decided to create our own. So why can't trans people just create their own space? And, you know, like, and America is very religious, right? Like, even on our dollar bill, it says, in God we trust. So I feel like they're not going to, especially those court systems, they're not going to care as much since you're like the minority of the minority, right? I don't think Caitlyn Jenner should get any backlash because wasn't she an Olympian back in the days? So she understands. And I used to run track back in, you know, when I was younger and did sports. And I would be so upset if I, you know, train as hard as I can, you know, like Wilma Rudolph type of training or those other great Olympians. And next thing you know, the trans woman who's running against me and beating me. And beating me. Like, that's not fair. You know, that's really not fair. Because no matter what, you can't beat them. They have, although they're on pills, they still have a lot of testosterone. Now, it gets dicey when it's intersex, right? I think it was a case recently about a woman who has like both parts, and they did not want her to run in the Olympics because her testosterone was a little bit higher compared to a natural born woman. Do you remember that case?
Yeah, I remember that. And people didn't even know that exists. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, say it again, Wiley.
I remember that case, and people was confused about intersex. They didn't think that was real at one point, and it's very much real. When you when you're born with like both genders, both parts.
Exactly. So those individuals, I feel like they need a little bit more accommodations, right? Because they may not have a space for them. But I feel like, why can't trans women just run in a male race? Like, why can't they do that? What's the issue of doing that? What's the problem?
I think the issue would be is I identify, but they're gonna say as I identify. But this is gonna go in the courts. It's best believe this will be in the court in the next couple of years. You will be seeing this, and the Supreme Court will definitely have to rule on it. Anything else you want to share?
But even after the Supreme Court, our Supreme Court is conservative, right? And
it's conservative now.
They're not gonna pass that.
It's mostly conservative now. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's really out the window. I just feel like I understand. Okay, so I guess I really can't talk on how it is to be transgendered, right? Okay. So I
can't either. If a trans person is in the live or listening, call in.
Yeah, because you know, like I feel like I can empathize but so much because I'm not in that. It's kind of like you know, when white people, like Black people, are complaining all the time of the injustice, and then you have your president, your vice president saying America is not a racist country and stuff, and white people like, I told you America is not racist. Like, look, you know, it's kind of like they can't really empathize because they can't walk in our shoes. But I do feel like I think it will make a bigger statement if they come up with their own type of platform for them to participate in sports. Then that's what they do for people who are disabled. Like disabled people felt like they couldn't do what they want to do, so they have their own Special Olympics. And you know what? It's fine. I think everyone should have their own space. The thing is, when you're trying to go into the mainstream space and think people should accommodate for you, because sometimes people are not going to do so, and you can't force them to do so. So if you can't force them, create your own. I think that's the only thing I don't understand. So I really hope a transgender person come and speak on this, because I just want to know why it's so hard or difficult to just create something by yourself, so that there's no issues with nobody. You know, like there's no miscommunications and stuff. So the previous caller that was talking about, you know, a lot of men like to sleep with, you know, like I guess. I just want to be clear. When it comes to having a neo vagina, like that's the proper term, basically a procedure to get it done. That's a very expensive procedure.
Very expensive.
That's not covered by health insurance. That they have to pay out of pocket. And a lot of Black transgender women are already, you know, going through. They're already discriminated against jobs. They're already being killed off. You know, and it's very hard to even find doctors who can even understand what they're going through. With that said, I do think it's kind of pricey to cover that procedure. Hence why a lot of them don't get it. But some of them do feel self-conscious that they're not completely whole. There's a lot of them that do feel like they're not really a real woman until they have that procedure done. But not all can get that procedure done. Hence why a lot of transgender women, when they do get certain procedures, they go through the black market. Okay, like they do a lot of like injections. That's not, you know, that's not board certified physicians, right? Because they can't afford all these cosmetic procedures. Again, I don't know how it feels when I look at myself and I feel like I am trapped in the wrong gender. I can't speak on that. And I never want to know how that feels, because I can think not everyone can understand unless they're in that shoe and unless you kind of like open-minded. But I do feel like there's some men who like the best of both worlds. Like,
right, and for me, you do have some guys that deal with trans women because of they have to pee, and it is what it is. They love it, and you have some that deal with it. They love it. Well, I'm not going to judge them. It is. You said what?
And then they start to it. Like, what's his name? What's that rapper that used to be with 50 Cent?
Oh yeah, Young Buck. Yeah.
You're transgender, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, just say you look transgender woman. Because this cannot be one time the slip up. Okay, I can see you didn't know, and then
but if like you keep getting it, it is.
But now
it is what it is.
But, you know,
even with Mr. C, I think it's with Mr. C too. I think when Mr. C, that DJ Mr. C or DJ Mr. C or something like that, whatever. I think in New York, the same thing. Anything else you want to share? Because now we getting callers. Go ahead.
Yes, this one more thing with the drag. I just want to say, like, drag are, like, there's different words between transsexual, transvestite, transgender, drag. Like, drag to me is kind of like an art form that they use in order to, there's a history behind drag, and it means so much more than just a man in a suit, a man just like a woman. I think, and I know it kind of like, you know, stems for a lot of things, and there's a lot of movies that people can watch to understand more about their culture, like Paris is Burning. Which was done in New York, because that's where the underground drag culture comes from. And again, what happened when LaBeisha, House of LaBeisha, when she was in that drag queen race and she didn't win against that white girl, she decided to start their own underground in New York, right? Because the black drag queens were not getting the respect they needed, and all minorities, and they never won anything. So they decided to do the all underground culture with drag. So I think a lot of drag queens don't want to be considered a transgender, right? Like, I think that's offensive to them.
Because drag queen is not a gender or a sexuality. It's a performance. It's an art form. So it is what it is. Yeah, it's an art form.
And I know it gets very dicey with these new terms, you know? So I just want to just put that out there.
All right.
But, okay, well, thank you so much, Molly. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, we're going to the next call. Now we got callers in here. 7736 caller, you're on the air.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
How's everybody doing? Hello.
It's glad to be back. It's glad to be alive. Thank you, Jesus. God, I thank you. Anyway, Wiley, I wanted to start with the elderly couple. You said that they got away
Yes.
for about 30 minutes, or whatever, found down the street. I think it's beautiful. You know what I mean? I think it is very beautiful that they at least got out. I don't know. Who knows what it was like for them in there? The fact that they got away says a lot, but I'm glad that they got out, you know, just
Well, I'm glad they
walk
didn't get,
them
I'm gonna
and
say this,
who
I'm glad
knows
they
how
didn't get,
long
I'm glad they didn't get hurt, you know what I'm saying? Because anything could have happened, could have get hit by a
Absolutely.
car or something like that. But it's no telling how the treatment was, because anytime they had it in their mind that they had to leave, obviously it's something going on. But I agree with you on that.
Yeah, because they could have even just been, because I don't, yeah, because that, to me, I think that says a lot. But, I mean, maybe they didn't have anyone or something. I used to work at a nursing home, but this was so many years ago. I was really young at the time. But I used to also, in the spare time, like, take some of the senior citizens out and stuff, walk around the park, read a book on a bench, type of things like that. It was a summer job when I was 16, you know? But obviously, they don't even do things like that now. I don't know who's working at these places or anything like that. I just think it's sad. But I think I'm sorry, it really touched my heart. At the same time, it really touched my heart. I love it. I love that they got out, even for that little bit of time. And dementia, Alzheimer's or none, that all aside, I mean, yeah, I guess the scientists and the doctors, all their little studies, you know, they need to do more work. That's what I can say.
I feel you on that. But I don't.
Did they remember some things, you know, that they already knew this, like, but I just think that's a lovely story. I love that. I think Shekinah should just stop talking, you know, like Kaya said, homegirl, you never shut up. I love that. Like, I just think she needs to stop because she knew everything from the beginning. I mean, you can't help people who don't understand. You can't keep telling them the same thing over and over. And I know we do that as we comment and stuff like that, but obviously she's never gonna get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. I'm sorry, like, I'm just over her. Like, it's over for her. Khloe, she never gonna get it either. Like, you already knew what it was. You should have done better before you chose him to be the father of your child, and that's just what it is. Okay, that's my opinion on that. Like, homegirl, we don't care. We don't want to hear your fears. We don't. And, you know, not for nothing, I kind of really believe that secretly, like, I mean, you know, Chris is pulling strings in the background, doing all this stuff to keep her relevant, because why else would we talk about Khloe? Like, why else would her name be brought up? Do you understand what I'm saying? We gotta post this and post it. Like, calm down. Like, and you know, they all run in the same circles. So she already knew what was going on. She wanted that stuff to be out there just to get people, you know, steal her name, her trendy. So
right.
I'm off her. The Candy and Boyz and them thing, I think that was, that was just too much. I agree with you with everything you were saying. Candy, though, I'm just like, really? Because even though he didn't have to say anything, I mean, yeah, I don't think he should have said anything after that. But it was definitely funny. I found that entertaining. But when she said what she said, it's just like, why? Because they could sing better than you? I mean, no offense. I'm sorry, but even his children sing better than she does. I'm just saying. I mean, all of his voice can blow. But that's it. I mean, that's neither here nor there, huh? But I think she should just focus on her little thing that she got coming up with SWV, and that's it. Okay? Because that ain't it.
Oh, you mean
Leave that
Escape?
shit in the past.
When Escape?
That is not going to help you at the verses. But I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So she needs to leave that alone. And as far as Britney Spears' fathers go, I never liked her father or her mother. And I just think it's really sad that after all of these years that they're still doing this to her, you know. I just think that whole situation is sad, how they did her. And thank you so much.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank
all right,
you.
thank
Love
you.
you so much. Thank you.
All right,
Good
bye.
night.
Bye. All right, 3071.
Hi, Wiley. Yeah,
Hey.
I want to talk about the Shekinah and Tiny. I was on Bingo when Shekinah was talking.
Oh,
and,
talk about it.
You know, she said that, she said she wasn't a groupie, but clearly she was, because several years ago when Sabrina Peterson allegedly did her wrong, and that's supposed to be Tiny's friend, if she really did you wrong, then Tiny was never your friend, because she would have checked Sabrina Peterson. But Shekinah still wanted to stay around T.I. and Tiny. So it's kind of like, I hate that she's going through all this, but she had to see a long time ago that Tiny wasn't her friend. And clearly she was a groupie.
Oh, groupie. An emotional groupie, I would say that. Thank you. Oh, wow. 1735.
Hi, Wiley.
Hey,
How you doing today?
good.
I've enjoyed your show and the commentary. It's been great. Going
Thank
back
you.
all the way back to when you spoke about Britney Spears earlier,
Yes.
and you were, well, now one thing with Britney, I have to realize, Britney was found to be mentally incompetent to care for her own finances, which is why her father had conservatorship over her finances. So the dementia thing, I think he's just adding on because she wants to come from under the conservatorship, but there's something going on there other than just that. And I haven't heard of anything saying that he's ever used any of her money for anything. So I think he may be well intentioned.
But I think she can control her money now. I think that she's good now. You don't think that she's mentally competent to control her money now?
For some reason, she wasn't at that time.
Okay, I'm talking about today, like right now.
She is still good. I'm sure that they'll return it to her where she can, she can take care of her own finances again. But I'm sure she's going to have to go through some type of mental evaluation for that, to clear that.
Okay. I feel you on that, but we thank
and then also, sleep on Britney. Britney's been working for years consistently. You have to see that Britney's done whole Vegas shows.
Yes, she had, but I think
forever.
lately she said she's not going to work until after she get out from under her father. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we don't know why Britney may be trying to get hold of her own money, maybe the new boyfriend, but that's neither here nor there. Now, I did enjoy your advice that you gave to Shekinah about, taking the battery out of her back and being her own person, basically.
Yes.
Because she is just a sad case of really sabotaging her own self. I mean, it's been speculated that Tiny was in the room when she was being fed that information, but she's actually put it all out there now. So she's just a blubbering idiot at this point. She has no credibility. She's just like Andrew Powell. They might as well go ahead and buy a ring and get married and have little babies. Because there's two other things.
Okay. We thank you so very much for calling in.
But I'll go Wiley.
All right, thank you.
I'll be doing only
okay, 3376 caller, you live on the air.
Hey, Wiley.
Hey.
First things first, I think Britney Spears should get from her dad. He's the reason why Kevin Federline is a multimillionaire now, given all that money, and he's been controlling her assets since she had that meltdown, and she's never been mentally diagnosed with dementia, so I think he's just trying to plot to spend up her money, because once she has full control, he's cut off. As for Shekinah and Tiny, I believe Shekinah, but I also believe Shekinah did this to herself. Tiny has never been loyal to her. When they first had the T.I. and Tiny family hustle, when that first premiered, Shekinah was the talk of the show back in the Gap, where people were saying, she was the show and stuff like that. So I believe her when she said they kicked her off and fired her because, she was, quote unquote, the star, you made the show. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate it has to come to this. But I feel like Shekinah should have been telling the truth and staying out of it from the start. But that's just my whole opinion on it. And that's all I have for you, Wiley.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, 7393, calling you on air. 7393. Okay. Anonymous, you live on air.
Hey, Wiley.
Hey.
I called back just to cover a few of the topics. The whole Britney Spears thing, I think that Britney Spears needs to get from up under her father, like one of the last callers stated. I think that it's sad that she does not have any control over her finances, and she can't move around like how she used to be able to move around because he has this whole conservatorship over her. Britney is a full-fledged grown woman who has worked hard over the years to earn a living and to earn the money that she's earned. She has 2 young adult kids, you know. I think that the court is overutilizing their power and keeping her father, you know, in control of her finances and her not being able to live her life how she wants to live her life, regardless of what, you know, people may say or think. I mean, nobody took Whitney Houston money. Nobody took none of these other celebrities' money. These people are able to live their life however they want to live their life and be able to do whatever they want to do with it. She's a full-fledged grown woman that works hard to earn the money that she's earned, and there's no reason why she should be locked up in a house having to report in and day out, and this man control her finances. As a grown woman, she's not a child. The other thing is the whole Khloe and Tristan. I mean, Khloe, when she got with Tristan, he had a whole baby mama that was pregnant with his baby. She met him, you know, she got him while he was in a relationship with somebody. So, I mean, how you meet a person, you met him where he was at, you took him from the baby mama, y'all got together. Tristan has been cheating since the beginning of the relationship. What do she think that is gonna change? You know, he cheated on her throughout her pregnancy, just like he cheated on his first baby mama throughout her pregnancy with Khloe. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, for me, I would say, if you're not gonna leave them, don't go inboxing people and make yourself look stupid. Don't entertain it, because you entertaining it, and like you said, people gonna post it. So if you're not gonna leave them, don't even reach out to these people. Let him handle his business, and when you get ready to leave, you leave. The other thing I called back on is to talk about the whole Caitlyn Jenner, the trans thing. I wanted to make a point on that. Currently today, right, and it's always been, women that identify, or girls that identify as boys, right? They've always still competed in the same gender and the same gender event that they were born in. So girls that identify as boys have always competed in women's sports or girls' sports. Why does it have to be different for the guys that identify as girls? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like the only issue is with the trans women that have an issue with competing in the sport in which they were born. You know, you know, what they were initially born as male. Because the women have been competing, the women that identify as men have been competing in the women's sport. They're not competing in the men's sport. So why do transgenders that identify as women, why should they be allowed to compete in women's sports when they were born male? So that's what I wanted to say about that, because that seems like a double-edged sword, because, you know, these girls that identify as boys, you know, they've been competing in girls' sports for years, for forever. So I don't understand, why do we have to interrupt that? Like, if you were born as a male, that's the sport you should compete in. That's the bathroom that you should use. That's the everything. Same thing with the girls that identify as boys.
All right.
So
well, thank you so much for calling in.
On that. I think we need to look at it like that.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, we down to 2 callers. 7562.
Hey, Wiley, how are you?
Doing good.
Okay, so just giving a couple of opinions. So if you look at the women that Tristan cheats on Khloe with, they're really attractive women. Like the only outlier is Khloe. No disrespect. I mean, to each his own. But if you look at, you line all of them up. The women that, like I said, all of the women that he's dealt with, including allegedly Jordan Woods, they've been really attractive women. Khloe, like I said, she is the only outlier. And I was thinking about Caitlyn Jenner running for California governor. I just think that her talents would be much better used like on maybe like an Olympic committee, like in sports, you know, maybe chairing some sort of panel about this whole trans issue in athletics. I just think that her perspective would be better used in that space versus in politics where she has absolutely no experience like whatsoever. And lastly, Shekinah, I think God blesses people and they don't see it a lot of times. With all this mess that is brewing, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. With all this mess that's brewing, I really believe that God might have looked favorably on Shekinah and said, let me get you out the way, sis. Let me get you away from these folks before the other shoe drops. Because if I was Shekinah, I wouldn't want to be nowhere. I mean, once you get past the hurt, sometimes that's what the Lord has to do to separate you from things that are just not good for you. Think about it. Tiny got a whole prison record and everything. She went to jail for that man. You want to go to jail for them too? So
good point.
I think that, you know, the Lord moves in mysterious ways. He moves in mysterious ways, and I think he might be blessing Shekinah. I really do. But that's all I got. I can't speak on Britney because I just think that she got too many people living off of her. They too invested in it. Too many people are living off of Britney. So why are they going to give up the good life? I
feel you on that.
I hope. Yeah, I hope it works out for her, but I just don't see. She got too many mouths feeding off of her, and I just don't see those people willingly giving up their cash cow, and it's really sad.
All right. We thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye. Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Listen, let me read Shekinah real quick because I don't feel sorry for this heifer at all. Let me tell you why. I totally agree with the last caller. Everything she said was true. God removed her out of a situation that her dumb ass wasn't smart enough to keep herself out of, period. You wanted to be known. You wanted to do all that. You got on anybody's live time after time again, spoke about God, your personal beliefs, how you ain't with none of that, and then you contradicted yourself when you sat on another live and said exactly what these folks told you to say that went against everything you say you believe in. So I don't feel sorry for her, but God did save her because he removed her from a situation that she thought was going to advance her career, and in actuality is having a very negative effect on her. So no, I don't feel bad for her. However, Britney Spears, I feel very bad for. I'm 35. Back in my day, we had a theory. She was just tired. She worked for Disney. She did all this stuff. She was just tired. Everybody's allowed to have a breakdown. It gets overwhelming. She was having paparazzis in her face 24/7. Do I think she's just completely incapable of taking care of herself and her matters? I don't think so. Do she probably need a little help? Maybe they can have 50-50 say in it. I think so. But back in the day, we had this theory that the doctors that she actually did see did get paid by her father to say that she was incapable of taking care of herself. So he could have guardianship over her. That's always been a theory. Am I saying she doesn't have any mental issues? No. Am I saying that it was stretched so he could have guardianship over her? Yeah, I do. And the last thing about this Duggar man, Lord, I wasn't going to speak on this. I just feel
it's
like if an accusation like that took place in a black community with a black family that had all them goddamn babies, excuse my language, they would have investigated it from the jump when the sister said something, but because they was this white family on TV, everybody thought it was adorable to have all these kids. Then they let it go under the radar. Now it's probably babies that's been touched by this man and ain't said nothing. And it's probably all type of stuff that's been covered up. So may he burn in hell with the rest of them. I'm going to get up out of here. I love you. Have a good one.
Love you. Thank you, caller. Wow. Shout out to the new callers that are calling in. Come through. Oh man. 2102. All right. 8242. Caller, you on the air. 8742. You live on the air. 8742. Live on the air. 8742. Okay, that's it. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all to the new callers. Shout out to the people. Hey, I also want to give a special shout out to all the moderators. This was good. If you missed the live, make sure you all go and catch the replay. Also, too, we are done with the phone lines. Okay, I'm gonna go to this. If you want to be notified when we go live, we have a text list. You can just text the Wiley Show to 833-760-1691. You could text the Wiley Show to 833-760-1691, and you could be notified when we go live, and you won't miss another live. So for those people that was DMing me talking about, oh, I was late, I didn't get a notification. I'm like, are you on the text list? They said no. So this is the way you can be notified, and and it's free. So if you miss a live, you don't have to miss a live. You could just, especially if you have a cell phone. So I think all of us have a cell phone, and it just send a text, and when it go live, I send you the link. You click on it, and there you go. You will never miss another live. Okay, and it's free to do. Okay. Shout out to all the moderators. Thank you all so very much for coming through. And I want to say special shout out to Erica Banks for adding me in her story. And also, please thumbs up the video. We need some thumbs up. And also leave a comment after we done with the live. Because I go back in the comments. We will see y'all later. Peace.